If you're a Skinnytaste fan, you'll notice that anytime you click to save a recipe, it will take you directly to Relish. So I'm just going to click on the save button. Again, these are my personal save recipes. Your recipes will look different. In order to access the meal plans, you can click here on meals, discover the meal plans. And these are all my saved meal plan series. So yours, again, may look different. I have all of them saved here, but we're just going to check out all the meal plans. And it looks like the Skinnytaste ones are sort of intermingled with some of the other ones. So if you don't know, Relish Plus, Relish offers some of their own meal plans. And there are 150 plus Skinnytaste meal plans available in Relish Plus. So I've created some vegetarian 5 dinners, some weekday meal prep plans where you prep on a Sunday night. And I like to prep also in the middle of the week because, sometimes food doesn't last that long. So once on a Sunday, once on a Wednesday, there are gluten-free and dairy-free dinners, high protein plans, weekday breakfast and lunch meal prep plans if you don't work from home and you need to take your food into the work with you. So we'll start here on the 7-day meal plan. So we have, the introduction, kind of like what the meal plan is about. If you see, if you go in through Gina's site, you'll notice we have sort of a similar explanation as to what the weekly meal plans are about. But one thing that is kind of hidden on Relish Plus that I want to point out is I have created a Google document that has all the nutrition information for all of the meal plan series. So if you've been following the 7-day plan since they started in 2017, there's generally the meal plan plus there's a Google document, which is, the easiest, most accessible way we could have figured out how to make it available to everybody with full nutrition information. So again, most of these plans are 5-day plans, so you won't have weekend nutrition information for those days, but you can click on this here and it'll take you directly to the Google Doc for the specific plan that is here. So does anybody have any questions so far?
Nope.
Am I talking too fast?
Nope.
I had a lot of coffee this morning. I had to hosted a 13-year-old birthday party yesterday, so I'm running on fumes. And so I'm just going to go in and show you kind of some of the things you can do with Relish Plus to modify these plans. So for example, this is, I guess this is this and the end, it's ending this week. So one of the great things that I like about Relish Plus is it allows you to delete items, and then you can go in later and even just delete specific ingredients and add other ingredients that may work for you. For example, if you're not fully dairy-free and gluten-free, but you like to use gluten-free flour, you can very easily go back in and change that in the, in your shopping list, which, I think we may be showing you that a little bit later. So I'll try and keep this pretty specific to what I'm doing here. So I'm going to say, for example, I really actually don't like blue cheese. Okay, so this buffalo chicken salad here for lunch on this specific day. So we have Wednesday. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take out this salad because I really don't want to eat that. So you click on these 3 buttons here and it removes it completely from your plan. And then I still want to eat lunch because I know I'm going to be hungry. So I'm going to go ahead and add here these pepperoni pizza bites. Now that I'm home with my kids for the summer, I'm able to sort of make things like this from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to Wednesday lunch. And this one in particular serves 16, and I don't need it to serve 16. So I'm going to go ahead and make it serve 4. And then it adds it to the plan exactly where I wanted it here. Does anybody have questions about that or notice anything about, they're trying to work on something and it doesn't work quite as well?
So when you change the quantity it makes, does it changes
the recipe for
It
you?
will change. Yep, it changes. Well, you're not going to be printing the recipes directly from here, but you can actually change the recipe serving sizes on the Skinnytaste site. So if you want to print out that recipe with the changed ingredient amounts, I would recommend doing that part on the Skinnytaste site, but it will update your grocery list. So if you're going to be using the grocery list based on the meal plan on Relish Plus, it will update that for you there.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah. Let's see. And is there anything else for, you know, these plans that you are finding hard to navigate or need help with at this point?
And Danielle, did you want to just mention, I don't know if you mentioned it already, it wasn't, and I missed it, but the revert button that if you, okay.
Yeah. So if you make a change and you want to go back to the original plan, you just click here to revert back to the original plan. So, and then from here, if you're good with the plan, you've made your changes, you know, scroll through. I like to just double check here to make sure that the serving sizes are right. And sometimes you'll notice that the serving size here does not match the website. And that is done on purpose because sometimes we're doubling a recipe to make sure it serves the right amount of people. And so that is updated manually with the Relish Plus team. Miss Beautiful Elin here does that on her end. And so it may not match, but just make sure it matches the serving size that you're trying to serve for your family or whoever you're feeding. So once you do that, you'll want to go directly to your grocery list. And this is where you can make some modifications. So at the very end, sorry, if this makes you dizzy, but I'm going to go fast to get to the end. It has the pantry staples, which I really like how they're kind of separated out. So in this case, I guess it's just oil, salt, and pepper. But, you know, a lot of times you want to, most of the time if you cook often enough, you'll have these. So if you realize you've run out of black peppercorns, just, you know, check on it. It'll add it to your list. The ones that are not checked will not print on your list. So, you know, I actually just got an email a question from somebody saying they can't digest yellow bell peppers or bell peppers at all. So they say, you know, please show me some recipes with bell peppers without bell peppers. So for example, I'm going to take the bell peppers off this one. And then, you know, unfortunately at this point, you can't add your own ingredients to the grocery list. But maybe once you print it out, then you can, you know, think about what you'd like to swap out and add that in. Although Miss Lisa here will show you how to sort of modify a recipe within Relish, and that will definitely update on your grocery list. But from this point, you really can't add anything into your grocery list. So this will show you everything that you're going to be purchasing. Here you say, you know, I have sesame seeds. I can uncheck that. I have sesame oil. I don't need to worry about that. So that's really awesome. And then once you get there, this is where you can either print your grocery list from here. I like to do the print view because I go, you know, I use my phone rather than having a piece of paper. So when you view it here, I also like it by aisle. So you can look at all the ingredients here by the aisle and check it off as you go along, or you can just print it and check it off with a pen, you know, on your way to, when you're at the store. Or if you're somebody who's been utilizing, one of the good things out of COVID is the ability to have your groceries delivered. So if you wanted to do that down here, it shows you you put in your local zip code. I'm in San Diego, so that's my zip code here. And it will populate the stores that are available, and you can have your groceries either ready for pickup or to be delivered directly to you. So that's such an amazing feature here with Relish Plus. So I think, and the other thing that we wanted to show you was for the series. So I'm going to go back in again to Relish Plus here, back into my meals, which shows me the meal plan. So I'm going to discover the meal plans. For example, like I said, I follow all the Skinnytaste plans, but I don't follow the Relish meal plan. So if you find a meal plan that you want to make sure pops up every time you open up your Relish Plus account, like I said, right now there are 150 meal plans, spring, summer, and then fall, winter. So there's plenty of things to choose from. And eventually, you know, those may be updated again, but you're not going to see new ones pop up right now because we've already created a giant database. So whatever series you follow will show up for you if you click on this heart button here. Now, when you sign in automatically and as part of my meal plans, the relish ones will start showing up in my feed. So I think these ones are just the whole, yeah. So series I'll love, and they show up here. Oh, maybe they're not. Where do they show up, Lisa? Yours only, are these only the series that I've loved?
No, those are all the most recent
It's
plans.
on meals there, Danielle, back at the top.
Meals. Uh-huh.
It'll show below all your.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Right. So you click on the meals button, and then that brings you to the ones that you have particularly saved, so you don't get everything that you may not be interested in.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Here are your series you follow. So again, we've created budget-friendly meal plans, especially now with grocery prices, gas prices are so high. So we thought it would be good to create something like that. And they have some of it is just, you know, you use leftovers. Some of it is using lower cost ingredients. So we try and switch it up and make sure that they're well balanced. That's always top in my mind. If you're having a lot of carbs for breakfast, then we make sure that you're getting, you know, maybe a lower carb lunch with a higher protein amount for lunch and dinner. So these are very well thought out plans. They're not just thrown together. You know, it's with the Skinnytaste fans in mind. So there's a lot to choose from: meal prep, one pan dinners, high protein, meals for one, gluten-free, dairy-free, vegetarian, time-saving weeknight dinners, and then of course our 7-day plan, which is 7 days of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Does anybody have any questions? Lisa, is there anything else you think I should demo for that part?
No, I think that's great. There is an ability also to put a meal plan on a calendar.
Oh yeah, would you like to show that?
Yeah, I'm happy to show that.
Okay, then I'll stop sharing my screen.
I was gonna demo some of the more relish specific features that are less Skinnytaste specific, but I will also demo showing putting a Skinnytaste meal plan on a calendar so you can drop it onto the whole calendar as a last thing, because that's really helpful. I know I use that a lot when I'm using meal plans, so happy to show that. Does anybody have any other, it doesn't have to be about the demo, but any like really questions about Skinnytaste that Danielle can answer, since she's kind of an expert at the content there and, you know, has been helping Gina for so long? Okay, then I was going to demo two things to you guys, and again, happy to take questions throughout. But I was going to try to show you guys some more general relish features. So for those of you who have been here before, it might be a repeat. But for others, feel free to, if I'm not starting at a more I'm going to start at a pretty basic level, but try to show some of the new stuff. So I'm going to share my screen here. And Elon's going to tell us if we have questions. So back to just how you get to relish in the first place. There's basically two ways you can get to relish. And, you know, there's a lot you can do for free. And then there's other features that are behind a pay gate, which is Relish Plus, which is a monthly subscription. So I'll sort of talk about what's for free and what's for pay as we go through this. But as a reminder, you know, the way you get to Relish can be just by typing relish.com into a search engine, or going and you're on one of your favorite recipes and you hit the save button, and this will save that recipe into your Relish account. So anytime you're on Skinnytaste, you hit save, or if you're up at the top of her website and you hit list, that will show my Relish shopping list. If you hit saved, it'll show all my saved recipes. So,
Lisa, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you get it to have that view? I really like how that shows the serving sizes and gives a little bit more information about what you've saved. Is that like an icon versus a list?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Version?
I'll talk about that. Perfect. So
Yeah.
we can start there. So so if you're in the recipes part of Relish, this is from Skinnytaste. So I'm still in the app that pops over. There's these little filter things, and you can view as a grid, which is the default. So you guys probably see your recipes this way. Or I have so many recipes saved. I actually like to use view as list. And there is a little bit more information here on the list than in the grid, because you see the photo, you see the name, you see the source. So I have a lot of Skinnytaste recipes. I love Skinnytaste, but I also save recipes from other places. Janie was mentioning she's been putting a lot in through cookbooks. You can do that. And it's pretty easy. You can just type stuff in and call yourself the author. And then there's other publishers we work with, like the American Diabetes Association and other bloggers. So you can see the source. You can see the servings, which I really like because I have a lot of people in my family, but they're not always all at dinner every night. So I'll make different decisions based on who's going to be home. And then also the number of ingredients, which is kind of nice because it a little bit tells you the complexity of a recipe. I mean, you can have really complex recipes that only have 4 ingredients, but for the most part, the number of recipes is an indicator of the complexity of that recipe. And then you can also from here, you can, delete things. You can add them to your list. You can add them to your calendar. So this is a really great view. You can also view, I right now have it sorted by newest recipes. So the ones I've saved, the most recent at the top, but you can change that and it goes to the very first recipe you saved versus the very last. So depending on what, you're looking for, again, I have 94 recipes saved. So these, you could also do alphabetical, which is great as well. So it's really up to you, but there's a lot of nice features here. One thing you can do is you can hit this plus sign. Oh, you can also search, and I can type chicken, and this will filter all of my 94 recipes to only the ones that I have that are chicken recipes. So that's helpful if you're kind of, you don't, instead of browsing through the whole thing, remembering, okay, I'm looking for that chicken recipe, but I don't really remember the exact name of it. So that's super helpful. And then you can take your filters off by hitting that little X over there. Sometimes I forget to do that. And I'm like, wait, why am I still only seeing chicken stuff? So I point out the X over there. And then you can also hit the plus sign. And as a free member, you can add any recipe that is available on relish.com. As a Relish Plus member, you can actually bring in any recipe on the internet by putting the URL here. And you could also type in any recipe. So I know for myself, like I love Skinnytaste recipes, but we still have, family favorites that everybody wants. And so it's nice to be able to type those family favorites in and keep track of them as well, so they can be used to build shopping lists or to put on the calendar. So I just wanted to point that out. Back to one of the things you can do if, let's say, I'm in the scallop, grapefruit, arugula. Doesn't this sound good? This sounds like a good recipe. Scallops, grapefruit, arugula, and spinach salad with champagne vinaigrette. Is that somebody trying to get in or ask a question? I could just hear the ping, but I can't see. Elin, do you know?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
good.
she's in. Elin let her in. Hello,
Okay.
Cheryl. Welcome.
So you can see that here is this recipe that looks amazing. But I want to make a little bit of a change. So I can hit this edit button. Again, this is with Relish Plus, and it pulls this whole recipe into that interface we just saw, where it's the title, it's the source, it says the prep and cook time, the total time, the number of servings. It doesn't assign a difficulty because Gina does not have that on her site. But if you've cooked it before, you can assign a difficulty for yourself, like moderate, and this will save your change. You can also go in here and you can make changes. So for example, like I have one of my kids like really doesn't like onions. So I'm going to delete the shallots. But I'm going to add some, I'm going to add a half a cup of walnuts. And then I can save it. And so what that's doing now is saving, let's call my own version of this recipe. So if I go back into this recipe now, you can see that the shallots are gone and the walnuts are there. And if I go and now add this to my shopping list, and I can hit the plus sign to add anything to my shopping list. Whoops. It's still the machine learning in the background is still calculating the new ingredients. So it takes a little bit of while. But if I add it to my shopping list, it will now add it with the changes to my shopping list. So it's really nice. I know I've edited almost all of my recipes in here a little bit. And you can, and the other thing you can do going back into the same recipe and editing is you can also add your own directions down here. So if you want to add extra directions or you want to add some notes about, how to cook, something for yourself, like use sea scallops when available or something like that, you can then save and it will save your notes as well.
And I do see, Lisa, just for 1 second, I do see it still leaves the ingredient that you cut out in the directions. So if, for example, you do make that change, you are going to probably, looks like you are going to want to go into the instructions and update that as well.
It does. And that's a good thing to point out. You have to remember. So like, for example, I would want to write myself a note that says, oh, I have to edit again, but skip onions, but don't forget nuts.
And Lisa, we've got a question.
Yeah.
Janie was asking, can you change it once you have saved it?
Yeah. Once I've saved it, I can just go change it again. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but this little number, as I was changing it, went to 0 and then it popped back in at 12. So that tells me now that the machine learning is done recalculating these things and mapping it back to shopping list. So I should be able to go see, now I can hit shopping list and now everything's there and the walnuts are there and the onion is not there. And then I could add it to my list. And then if I go over to my list, I have the sea scallops now added. I have these other recipes as well that I could take off to make it more obvious, but then you can see that all the ingredients that were on my sea scallops are now here.
Oh, that's nice. Also, Lisa, I like that you showed us the photos of the recipes you've added to your list, because I probably wouldn't have realized I can just go directly to that recipe and delete it, as opposed to trying to go through my list to take the things off I don't really want.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So, and you
good.
can do, yeah. So let's get into that. Thank you for bringing that up, Danielle. The list is a very good view to know, because it basically, these little thumbnails up here show you all your recipes. And you can do something very simple here, which I have all 96 of my recipes right here. So if I don't want to go through like a lot of stuff, I could easily, I'm going to delete this one, but I could just come in, and this is available to free and pay members, and say, okay, what do I want to eat this week? I want to eat Greek turkey meatballs, and there's going to be 4 of us, add to list. I want to eat the barbecue chicken salad, and there's going to be 4 of us. So I'm going to change the servings, add to list. And I think I kind of want to do a salad. So I'm going to search on salad, and here are the salads I have saved. Ooh, I'm going to do this, Asian lettuce wrap chicken salad, because I love stuff like that. Put it in here. Already for 4, add to list. And now I have 3 recipes that I've added to my shopping list in a matter of minutes. And then I can go through and I can go, okay, I already have barbecue sauce. I don't need cooking spray, and you can go through and it will remove things from your list. And then, as Danielle said, I can send it to any of the grocers that are in my zip code, either for pickup or delivery. So this is a really easy way to I'm not going to send it to Safeway because you guys don't need to watch me shop at Safeway, but and then if I say want to add, it would push all this to my Safeway shopping cart. And then if I wanted to add like toilet paper, paper towels, dish soap, I can do that once I'm on the Safeway site as well. So this is a really, really fast, simple way to do meal planning. Now, another way I can do meal planning, and this is actually what I do every week, is I use the calendar. And so you can see that I'm pretty focused on doing a calendar. So on Sundays, I go in and I build the calendar for the whole week. And then I build my shopping list and I go shopping and I get all the ingredients. And then boom, I'm done. I actually write all of the things we're going to have for the week on a piece of paper and I post it to the fridge so that my kids don't ask me what's for dinner because they know they can go look at the fridge and read it. And then if my husband gets home before I do from work, he can start dinner because he knows what we're having and he can go to Relish and he can get the recipe because I'll write watermelon, arugula, and feta salad from Skinnytaste on Monday. And so he knows that's what we're making. So he can pull up the recipe as well. So that's kind of our own, house process. But what I'll do on Sundays is I go in here and I'll, pick so one thing you have to do is you have to be on the day you want to do. So I already have today planned. So I'm looking at starting tomorrow. And so let's say we're going to have the salad niçoise for dinner tomorrow. I drag this over and it will go onto the date that's highlighted. I'll say, yes, I want it for 4 people, dinner, add to calendar. And then you'll see this little blue dot show up. Blue means dinner. I can also, if, for example, I maybe also want to make breakfast, I could do the same thing, drag this over, and I can say, I only want to make this for 2. And I'm going to make this, I'll make this for lunch, the spinach strawberry salad, add to calendar. And so now lunch is red. So now you can see that I've planned both lunch and dinner for tomorrow. Typically I'm only making dinner plans because everybody's out and about during the day, but you do have the flexibility to plan, breakfast, lunch, dinner, a full meal plan, like you saw from Skinnytaste in their meal plans. And then as I go through, I can now plan this day. Has anybody had Jennifer Aniston salad? It's really good. I make it for dinner all the time. Add to calendar. I can do, I still have salad up here. And so it's filtering everything by salad. I can has anyone had Gina's chicken piccata? It's so good. I'm going to add that to the calendar here. And I made this the other day. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. This is an amazing recipe. People who haven't made this from Gina, it's so good. Add that to the calendar. And again, I can make my list pretty fast. This is a family favorite. Add to calendar. And now I have the whole week planned in really, really quickly. So then I can kind of look back through, like, do I still like what I picked? And I can look at each day and I can decide if I like it. Okay, yeah. And it's all down here. So it's like, okay, I'm doing that day, that day. And then once I've figured it out, I can then send any day. Let's say I want to shop for the whole week. I can go back to Monday and I can hit these buttons, add day to list, continue. And then I can just go here, add day to list, continue. And this is now building my shopping list for all of the days that I have just planned. And what I should have done is gone back and made sure I didn't have anything in my list before I did this, because I think I had other stuff in there from showing you guys. Woo, what happened? I had other things in there from showing you guys my list and putting recipes in. So there's still some recipes up here that I should have taken out beforehand. But then you can see that this is my list for the week. And I can then again check everything off and then send it to, in my case, I use Instacart a lot and just have it delivered. Or sometimes I just go to the grocery store because it's easier. And I'll I use it on my phone. And what I do is I actually check it off on the phone as I'm going through. So that's my process. One last thing is I wanted to show you is back to the meal plans. Let's say I decide that I want to use the Skinnytaste meal plan and I want to add it to my calendar. I can hit this button here and it will tell me when do I want to start this Skinnytaste meal plan on my calendar. Well, I already planned this week, so I'm going to start it next Sunday. You don't have to start it on Monday, even though the plan starts on Monday. You can start whenever. So I'll start it on Sunday, and you can see that now this pre-populates, and I go add, and now it's added the Skinnytaste thing to my whole calendar here. Now, what I love about this is that I don't know if any of you guys use sort of meal calendaring, meal journaling. A lot of people like to journal what they ate, but this, is acting as a plan for the upcoming 2 weeks, but it also acts as a journal. So oftentimes I'll go back and I'll say, oh, what did I do? Like, last month, let's say, what did I do this week? And I can just kind of look through what I did and I can be like, you know what, that was a pretty good week, and just copy that whole week into June. Like, my family's not going to remember that a month ago we had these 5 recipes in a row. So I can just repeat a week, and that makes my planning really, really fast. So that's another option too. You can drop a pre-done meal plan on here, or you can, repeat one of your weeks.
How do you do that, Lisa? Do you have to go in and manually look at every recipe and re-add it, or can you like highlight the week and drop it in?
Yeah, you have to go like this and say, okay, what did I have this day, and then move it. We are in the process of building the ability for you to build your own meal plan and then save it. So I could go back here and I could say, I'm just going to call this week Lisa's week 1 meal plan kind of thing. Because we've had a lot of requests that people want to be able to save a week and call it their, like, your family favorites meal plan week 1, and then they can just drop it in. So we're in the process of doing that. But right now you would have to go, okay, it's the Greek shrimp dish from Santorini, and go here and then add it to my recipe, find it again. Whoops, sorry. I keep going out. And then I go over here and go Greek. And then, oh, there it is. And then add it to this. Let's say I want to do it on this Monday, and then go add to calendar. So right now it's a little bit manual, but it still sometimes helps me, because I actually spend quite a bit of time when I'm making my own meal plans up, thinking about like not having chicken every day, or I always try to have fish on Monday because I go to the grocery store on Sunday. And then I try to like use the Instapot one night and those kind of things. I have kids that do like I have a kid that does gymnastics, so he's gone until late a couple nights a week. So I always try to do things that are simple, easier to keep around as he did, for him to eat when he gets home. So a lot of thought goes into my week. So I do repeat my weeks a lot. Like a month later, nobody ever knows. Does anybody have any questions about those things, which is like, editing a recipe, saving your own version, adding a recipe to the calendar, anything like that before I stop sharing?
The stores that are in the shopping
Yeah.
Does that have Canadian stores also?
I wish it had Canadian stores.
Okay.
No, it does not. That's so sad. We would love to have Canadian stores. A lot of the stores we have
Are same. We
yeah.
have some of the same.
Yeah, it comes through. We use all of the stores' APIs. So, for example, Walmart, we have a direct connection with Walmart, And so they feed us the data. And
Mhm.
right now, most of them only have because we have to match all of these ingredients to each store to know what they have in stock. And we know, availability of items. And so we haven't yet expanded, or they haven't yet expanded their APIs to be able to accommodate other countries, but we would love to do that. And as soon
Mhm.
as people can do that, we will. Yeah, it would be great. But the way it works now is it's whatever your zip code is, it's finding the retailers in your zip code that we have API connections with, which is really quite a lot because Instacart maps to lots and lots of grocery stores around the country. Any other questions people might have?
Lisa, can you show one more time how to go from this shopping list? Like I said earlier, if you wanted to like sub out an ingredient, like how do you navigate away from your shopping list to go back into modify a recipe to update onto your grocery list? Like the all-purpose flour, for example.
Oh,
If I wanted to put gluten-free flour, like what's the best way to
oh,
do that from here?
okay. So the best way to do that is actually to okay, so let's remove everything in my shopping list because I have quite a bit here. And let's get rid of my Greek filter. So if you want to let's say for example, you have a recipe that you always make and you don't like one of the ingredients. It's a little bit like I explained here where you would change it permanently. But you're
Mhm.
saying I don't want to change it permanently in the recipe, but as I'm creating my list, I would like
Mhm.
to not have. Okay, so if I go over to my list and I put this in, I would say, oh, I don't like champagne vinegar, and I would uncheck it, add to
Mhm.
list. But there's no way for me to then now add a different vinegar. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. So how do I navigate back to the page where you can make changes in the recipe to where it will update on your grocery list?
Oh,
How do you
um,
navigate to that page?
well, you would have had to change it similar to the way I changed it
Mhm.
before adding it. So
Okay, so it's best to do it before.
yeah, because once you've added it, it's sort of like your list is growing. So I don't even think if I like, for example, if I went and added, let's just try this, but I don't think it works, but we'll go for it. So remove. Let's say I add the chocolate frozen yogurt to my list.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, oh, monk fruit sweetener. I don't really like that. And I have a different fruit sweetener at home. So I'm just going to permanently change that. So of course I have to find, okay. So I would go in here and I would hit edit.
Okay, so you have to go in through your saved recipes to get to the editing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have to permanently edit it. Look at this total. Oh, I guess it's right because we're making ice cream. That's so funny. I've never seen that. Like, wow. Uh, okay, that's a long
That's a
time.
lot of minutes.
Yeah, but you could edit and save, but it would be a permanent save. And then
Okay.
you wouldn't and then you would, if you wanted to revert back, you'd have to go re-edit. There's no way to sort of edit the recipe on the fly. And I think even if you did go edit it, it wouldn't update your list. Because it's kind of like once you put it on there, it's there.
Mhm.
So I would do all the editing of recipes prior to moving
Before.
them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but for the most part, I kind of like have the ingredients that I like to use. Like, for example, I think flour is a good one. And I just kind of always edit as I add recipes into my recipe box. I edit then to like the things I use, as opposed because otherwise it's really confusing. Like which ones have I edited and which ones haven't I edited? So I don't know. For other people who have a lot in their recipe box, maybe they can talk about what they do. But for me, I always try to edit recipes as I'm importing them, so that I know that the one I have saved is sort of my version of it. Janie, what do you do? Because I know you have a lot of recipes in your box.
kind of the same as you. Pretty much the same.
Mm.
I'm up to 144.
Wow.
I'm excited, yeah.
Have you been putting a lot in from recipe books, like after we showed you how to do that in the last one?
I've been doing about one a week.
Oh,
So
good.
I like to go through, I get the Skinnytaste plan, and then I usually will pick one cookbook, try to vary it. Like this week, I did the Skinnytaste cookbook, the first one, because that one seems to get forgotten. And I find a recipe and then I add it. So this week it was chicken marsala, and I added that into. So
Oh,
you guys taught me. It's really great.
yeah, it is great. Oh, and then I forgot to show you guys that, but that's my trick. I don't know, Janie, if you have a kind of a way you add recipes from cookbooks, but I like to write the name of the cookbook as the source. And I also like to add the page number. So I'll write like, like whatever the cookbook name is, and then in parentheses, because you can have a different source for everything, I'll write page 64 so that I can then pull the cookbook out of my cookbook library and use it if I want to. And then if there's no photo of it's always great to have a photo of the recipe, but a lot of times cookbooks don't have photos of every recipe, and oftentimes the recipes I use don't. So I'll take a picture of the cover of the recipe book because I recognize my recipe books by the cover. And then I put that as the photo for the recipe so that when I am looking for it in my list of recipes, I'm like, oh yeah, it's that cover. So that's just a trick that I've used for the photo. And then sometimes I'll like remember when I'm actually cooking the recipe to take my own photo. And then next time I'll upload a photo of the recipe, because it is better to have a picture of the actual food than the cover. But I don't like having no photo. It feels undone to me. So I like to have something.
Once you edit a recipe, does the nutritional information change?
That is, Kathy, thank you so much for asking that question. I love that you asked that question. So as you've probably noticed on Relish, we don't have nutrition tied to the recipes. I know they do at Skinnytaste, but many of our publishing partners do not have nutrition. So we actually called 2022 the year of nutrition. And we've been working really, really hard to connect all of the ingredients in our database to nutrition. And we are launching by the end of the year the ability that you can see nutrition on every single recipe that's on relish.com. And that if you edit your recipe, you will be able to watch the nutrition changing in real time. So if that thing I did where I got rid of the onions and I added peanuts, or walnuts, I would have seen the calories per serving go up as I'm adding walnuts because they have a lot more calories than onions. And I would also see, the fat change. So you can start to see how the changes you make on each recipe impact the nutrition, which is really cool. I don't know anybody that does that. So that's why we really want to build that. We're really excited. And we think that will also help as people are trying to build, look at meal plans. Because I know Danielle does a great job on the nutrition of her meal plans. But if somebody wants to change, like she showed you, you can change that recipe she didn't really love, swap it out of a meal plan and add a new one. Now the nutrition is not accurate anymore for that meal plan. But in the case after we've launched this, it will update itself. So for the day or for the week, so you can see the newer nutrition. So thank you for asking that question. And we're really excited. In addition, we're going to be able to calculate things like if it's vegan, if it's gluten-free, if it's vegetarian, if it's lactose-free. And again, as you change ingredients, those things will change. So maybe it starts out not vegan, but then you get rid of the animal and it will then swap to be vegan. So as you're looking in your recipe box and if you want to look at vegan recipes and you've made a change to a recipe to make it vegan, that will now work. And it will find that your version of that recipe that you've changed. So that's going to be a really big deal too. So not just the nutrition we all think of as like the back of a package, but also those attributes that are really important that are tied to nutrition, tied to ingredients like vegan and lactose free and dairy free, that kind of thing. Does anybody have any other questions? Well, we're almost out of time. We're really grateful for everybody giving us time on their Sunday to talk to us about Skinnytaste and Skinnytaste meal plans, and get to know Danielle and her process a little bit more, and learn a little bit more about Relish, both free and pay. Of course, we're always here to help you. We have customer service, and we try to do a good job answering questions through customer service if you have any. So feel free to send us customer service questions, and we'll always have more of these Q&A sessions. And as we build out more features, we'll continue to have these so we can show you new features that we add in. And certainly once we launch all the nutrition, we will have a couple sessions specifically on that to show people how it works.
Okay, you were talking previously about adding recipes from a cookbook. I suppose that was a previous session that you did. Is there any way of accessing that?
Great question. Basically, the shortcut of the answer is that you probably saw that screen where I hit the plus sign, and this is only for now Relish Plus members. You hit the plus sign and you can add your own recipe. So you start typing stuff in. And when you get to the ingredient section, do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay, so the latest iPhone is does OCR, it does character recognition, so it acts as a scanner. So if you're doing it on your phone, then you get to the ingredient section and you just hit the button, and and you like press with your finger on that section, and it will say read text, and then you like take a picture and it just turns it into text. It's amazing. I think, Elin, didn't we make a video that we showed last time?
Yeah, we did. And you're going to get an email like a half hour after this class is over. So in about 30 minutes. So I was just going to go put that video in that email so you guys have it.
Great.
Yeah. So it's really, really much simpler than it seems like it would be. And once you get the hang of it, you can do it really fast.
Great.
But it's only the new iPhones, right? Like I
Yeah.
have a pretty old iPhone, so mine I can't do it on my
It's not
phone.
like you have to have a 13, but I think it's like the later versions. Like if you have a 6, no. My dad still has a 6, so he can't do a lot of stuff. But
Yeah.
but if you've gotten a more recent one, you're okay.
Yeah. A kid or a grandkid. Like my daughter's phone is newer than my phone, so I'll just use her phone.
Get them to do it.
Esther, did you have a question? Because it looked like you were trying to ask something, but you're on mute. Oh, no. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys, and have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.